Now, today is a great day to have someone who represents Indonesia in a world-class institution. United Cities and Local Governments, or UCLG in Asia Pacific, is now led by an Indonesian lady that has a lot of experience in public policy and diplomacy. Who is she? Take a look.
Graduated from the University of Tokyo, Bernardia Chandradewi started her career in CityNet in 1998. She spent most of her youth life in Japan. She finally decided to return to Indonesia after chosen to be the Secretary General of United Cities and Local Governments for Asia Pacific Region, or UCLG ASPAC. UCLG ASPAC is the united voice and advocate of democratic local self-government, which promotes cooperation between governments and within the wider international communities in the Asia Pacific region. As the Chief Executive Officer of UCLG ASPAC, she directs the daily activities of the section and carries out the decisions of the Regional General Assembly, the Regional Council, and the Executive Bureau. The Secretary General manages the General Secretariat and the activities, programs, and finances of the section under the guidance of the Presidency and reports to the Executive Bureau. Bernardia is the first Indonesian who was selected to be the Secretary General of the biggest regional section and UCLG linkages. Please welcome Bernardia Irawati Chandradewi.
Thank you for inviting me.
Oh, no problem. It's a pleasure to have you here. Now, first question.
Yes.
What's been happening with you and what's UCLG like? What's the updates?
As you know, UCLG stands for United Cities and Local Governments. You know, it's like United Nation, but at the city level. So United Cities and Local Governments, UCLG. And I represent UCLG ASPAC as a Secretary General. This is actually the largest section of UCLG because we have 3.7 billion people in this region, and we connect, for Asia Pacific itself, we connect around 7,000 local governments. And in total, UCLG connects with more than 240,000 towns, cities, local governments, and also we have 170 local government associations.
Well,
so it's very
that's a big
broad
operation.
net. Yes, exactly.
And what's the most recent activity or event that you guys are having?
We have a different kind of events and also different kind of programs because UCLG focuses on the importance of local governments and cities.
Right.
And local government is the closest body to the community. So if you see there is traffic jam, floods, and also sanitation problems, everything, you know, the people will blame the governors or mayors. They don't blame the presidents anyway.
Now, let's look at
So this is why in our activities we have, we organize several programs like related to how local governments can be strengthened.
Take Jakarta, for example,
Yes.
as a city.
Yes.
How would you solve a problem here? And from which city can we look as an example of, hey, let's solve the traffic problem, for example.
Yeah.
Look at this city, for example.
Yeah.
What do you look
Actually, Jakarta has a big potential. As you know, Jakarta is a big contributor to the economic of the country. You know, with I think around Jakarta has 70 trillion rupiah, you know, is in budget, and it's going to be more. And the challenge in Jakarta is that sometimes related to also planning. They don't have a very good planning, even though if there is a proper planning, they don't have any kind of guts, you know, no political will to implement it. I look at, again, the issue of traffic. MRT was planned more than 20 years ago, but why only now has been executed? What happened with the past 20 years? And again, with the plot, there is a kind of a problem because the plan not been implemented. Like this place should not be malls, you know, not should be mall, but it turned into mall. It's supposed to be not for other things. So there's, and I see Jakarta can be many cities in other countries can also learn from Jakarta.
Now we know that a lot of people are optimistic.
Yeah,
Bogor was actually, they won WWF's most lovable city.
Yeah.
Now, what are your thoughts on that? Bogor, when doing something right for the city,
Yes.
What should Jakarta do looking at Bogor as an example?
Bogor, in terms of size, of course, is different, okay? And also, both they have a good leaders as well, and the leaders try to listen to the people. I think that's most important, being a good leader, because people understand, people know what they want. And this is why in the case of Bogor, for example, in the case of Jakarta, I think there is good improvement already, good progress in the development. Like, Jakarta also managed quite well these street vendors. Also, they manage well some of the public spaces, with the fluid, the area, those kind of things.
Now let's talk about these public spaces in Surabaya, 3 public spaces.
Yeah.
What's going on there?
Yeah, in Surabaya, I was there last week. We joined this PrepCom, Preparatory Committee 3 of Habitat 3 conference. Yes. This is a big UN meeting, and this year in October, UN member states will approve this new urban agenda. And new urban agenda is set for 20 years. How cities should look like, how regions should look like, because when you look at the development, actually the development is only benefiting to some group of the people, only maybe this elites, but we still see poor people anywhere, So in the PrepCom 3, we also organized together with Ibu Risma. She's one of my idols actually, as a good leader, woman leader. We organize a Women Mayors Forum. We want to see more women becoming a good mayors. And then we give a chance to women to join politics, because when you look at the number of women mayors, women governors, in Indonesia, we still have very few, like, maybe less than 15. Okay. We also do that in Surabaya. Okay. We also build public space, because public space, people always see like, okay, green open space. But it's not only green open space. Public space include also library, public library, even streets, sidewalks. You see the quality of sidewalks.
And we're actually going to talk about that in just a little bit. But before we continue on, we'll be right back, guys. Don't go anywhere.
Okay.
And welcome back to Raising the Bar. Moving on, UCLG is a big operation. You guys have a lot of operations and everywhere around the world. Yeah. Now, what's funding like? How does that work for this big operation?
Like United Nations also depends on membership fees. This is also with UCLG. So every city, every local government, members of UCLG, they have to pay membership fees. But we also receive funding from different kind of donors, like European Union, also some UN agencies, but big portions come from membership fees, particularly members from Korea, China, as well as Australia. They are contributing a lot. Okay. But in the world, most fundings come from European cities and local governments.
Okay. Now I'd like to ask you questions from these articles that we see. We see that at Women's Mayor Forum in Surabaya, it seems like you're trying to empower women to be more in a power position in governments or elsewhere. Now, why is that, and how are you doing it?
You believe it or not, if you give a job to women, they will do better. Do you believe it or not?
Perhaps. I believe in equality.
Because usually women tend to be less corrupt, in general. Because if you give a woman money, they will use normally for family, nutrition, health, education. So that's the nature of women, being a woman. So you see, what we want is more women as the leaders in this world. And Indonesia has a big challenge because we target 30%, but mostly women has less opportunity because they don't have confidence, they don't have platform in which they can express their views. They also have no capacity to be a good leaders. But you see the many women leaders in Indonesia. Irisma, for example, she leads with her heart. This is why it's so different, because we not only use rational, but also think of what to be a good leader is you have to give a good examples. You have to start from yourself, from ourselves. Otherwise, you know, how the people will follow you if you ask the people to do this, but you do differently. So being a good leader is you have to listen to the people. You also have to give a good examples.
Right.
You have to start from yourself, you know,
Right.
and you have to understand what the people need.
Words of wisdom. There you
Yes.
go. Second question.
Yeah.
This is from an article from Pojok Sambar, and you visited an education park in Surabaya.
Yeah.
Purpose of visit? Why? What happened there?
Surabaya, I really praise Surabaya to host these important events of UN. This happen only every 20 years. So I used the chance to also visit some of the public spaces that Surabaya has also given to us to develop. And I visited the education park, and how Surabaya was managing the city to transform themselves into more livable city. They have more parks, they have a more public space. So we were there because there is a place where young people also meet, you know, and they use free Wi-Fi and also learn many things. And in the space that we got from Surabaya, there is also old incinerator plant, and the Surabaya plan to remove those incinerator plant. But I managed, you know, we managed to talk to Risma, Bu Risma, please, can we transform this into a more, better place, public space? And then she agreed with the support of the people.
Great.
And I also visited this Kampung Ketandan. It's in the center of the city of Surabaya. You know, you can imagine in the crowded place, you still have a very nice kampung where people live and also, you know, support each other. This is what the missing part in most modern cities in the world. Yeah. And so we, together with the bureaucrats and also community, we created a culture hall like Joglo, in the form of Joglo, and the people just so excited. You know, they need space, especially in high density area. So this is why what we want to see is more public space. Like,
Definitely.
I live very long time in overseas countries. I miss walking, you know, freely and safely in any place in this country.
I miss that too, actually.
Yeah.
A lot of good parks out there.
Yeah.
Now, moving on, social media questions really quickly. Before we go to the break, how from Irawan Sos is asking, how did you get involved in UCLG in the first place?
I applied for the job. I lived 25 years in Japan, and I wanted to come back to this country, and I saw the opportunity. I got 2 offers actually, but I chose this one because I see the potential, big potential, because it's a big, powerful networks, you know, and we can make use of this for the good capacity of local governments, especially in Indonesia. That's why I came back.
Okay. Moving on, question number 2 from Towan Jr.
Yeah.
He's asking that how do you convince the current administration to develop Eastern Indonesia,
Okay.
infrastructure-wise?
Okay. As you see, development of Indonesia is not balanced. We focus too much in Java, Jakarta, you know, and of course the part of Sumatra. We miss the other opportunity, you know. We missed to look at the eastern part of Indonesia. So we also have associations as our members, so we can access actually all cities and local governments in eastern part of Indonesia. So we try to encourage them and also make them join our programs, our training, and also our projects. We also work currently with Bappenas, how to transfer those smart practices from one side to elsewhere. So because we need some kind of techniques, because replication is also quite challenging, especially if the situation, conditions are different. So we also look at that, and I'm very pleased that the current government focuses on that aspect, because as you see from the body, if the left hand is not working, you get stroke, you know. So you have to have a very good, beautiful function, and the important is accessibility and connectivity. And this is why transportation is a key.
Very well explained, by the way. Now, from last one from Jagoan Surabaya is asking that how can we keep our cultural identity while modernization keeps going?
You don't want to see all cities look like New York. Because if you wake up in the middle of night, you open your eyes, where I am, you know. If you don't keep your culture identity, you lose. You lose, basically. Because what makes people different, what makes place unique is the culture. And the culture is not about dancing, it's not about singing, but the culture is about how you think, how you interact, like gotong royong, this is walking together. It's also part of the culture of Indonesia. This is why we have to keep it as identity. So I basically like to see where cities, in terms of services, are top class, but in terms of human connectivity, in terms of, you know, human relationships, like in kampung, you know, still in the kampung environment in which you feel comfortable, like safety, about safety issue in the city, for example. It's not just putting CCTV everywhere, but the culture. How can you also watch your neighbors, you know, and live together in the nice environment in the modern size of cities?
So it's probably doable, but there's much to do.
Oh yeah,
Most definitely.
it's doable. It's
And
doable.
guys, don't go anywhere. Be right back. Hello and welcome back to Raising the Bar with me, Robin Porba. Now, Nadia,
Yeah.
tell us again what's happening in South Korea. What's the agenda? What are you guys trying to achieve?
This is going to be a congress of UCLG ASPAC. We expect all members of UCLG ASPAC to come and attend this congress. It's going to be in Chulabuk province. It's a very interesting place, actually. It's the first culture of South Korea starts. So it's a nice place, and I want you to come too.
I will, maybe, if
Yeah.
I can get there.
And so during the congress, we hold the congress every 2 years. So we do election of presidents, co-presidents, executive bureau members, and council members of UCLG ASPAC. But this agenda is also very important because the theme itself is about cities, regions, life, culture, and the new urban agenda. And as you know, United Nations member states will approve this new urban agenda in Quito in October this year for the next 20 years implementation. So this is going to be last meeting of our members to also come up with more recommendations on the draft that was prepared by United Nations. Also, we support the preparation of the draft because UCLG provides a platform for local governments to speak up at the international level. So we want UN to listen also what local governments' role, what local governments need to play, and this is why the meeting is important because we don't want to have failure in the implementation of the next 20 years if we don't get involvement of local governments and cities. So that's why we organize it.
So if I'm not mistaken, the next one is in India. Is that correct? In the next 2 years? The next conference meeting is in India?
Yes. We haven't decided yet on the place, but we are going to agree in South Korea, in Chulabuk-do, where to be the next host for the Congress. But we also organize several other activities, not only Congress itself.
And now on to lighter topics.
Yes.
For your hobbies, what do you do? I heard you go outdoor sports,
Yeah.
you do things outdoorsy.
Yes,
What do you
I
do?
like traveling. I like climb mountains as well.
Where'd you go last time?
Mount Fuji. I climbed Mount Fuji, 3,370 meter high.
How long does it take for you to get there?
Well, I started from the middle, not really from the bottom.
that's not
I
cheating?
stay one night there. Yeah,
Okay.
but it's. I also want to climb Mount Rinjani if I have time. But normally during my holidays, I like to go back to Japan and I eat Japanese food. I love Japanese food, so.
Because you were there for a real long
Yeah,
time.
I also do sports. I play tennis. I do swimming sometime, and when I was in Japan, I learned how to ride a horse actually, but I don't do it anymore here because
So very competitive, very
yeah, I like
you're doing a lot of
adventure.
things. Now, what about your siblings? I hear that you have 6 siblings,
Yes.
all girls.
No, 3 boys and 3 girls.
And how are you guys doing competition-wise? Who's doing the best? Who's more successful? And maybe are you guys shoving each other with elbows?
Well, my siblings are doing well in their positions and their jobs, you know, and then different career, different path, and they are very proud of what they do. And we do competitions in positive ways, you know. Sometimes, you know, my sister is always very famous. She's on TV all the time, you know, and we are very proud always, and we support each other.
That's good.
So that we are so happy to have a big family, you know, with us.
Very good, very good. Now moving on to get ready. Quick questions, yes or no.
Yeah.
Here we go. Ready?
Yeah,
Spaghetti or ramen?
ramen.
Obviously. Biggest achievement before you reached 30?
PhD.
Oh, wow. That's amazing. Your worst mistake ever in life?
I have no mistakes, I think.
Good answer. Is Indonesia ready for a female leader?
Definitely,
Alright.
yes.
And that's all we have for today. And thank you, Bernardi, for
welcome.
being here. It was awesome talking to you.
Thank you very much.
And that's
Thank
all
you.
we have for Raising the Bar. We'll see you again next time from right here in Raffles, Jakarta. I'm Robin Purba. Goodbye.